necessarily like tell yourself that you're gonna get this really obvious answer. Sometimes God's gonna surprise you. What's up, girls? Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad you're here today and every day that you show up. Thank you guys so much for watching and commenting and subscribing. You guys are awesome. If it's your first time though, maybe you should subscribe. In fact, not maybe, you definitely should subscribe. My name is Anna and I make Devo or devotional videos for girls. I upload 5 Devo videos every single week for you all. Basically, we read through a chapter in the book of Psalms together and then we talk about what God is showing us through what we read. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's Devo. Go ahead and grab your phone and pull up the YouVersion Bible app. It's a free download. Or you can grab your regular hard copy Bible. I like to switch it up and do both. And turn to Psalm 83. Pause the video here so you can actually take that time on your own to read that psalm. That's really, really important. And you can also, if you want, grab like a cup of coffee. I've got my coffee here in one of my favorite mugs from Anthropology, or an iced tea, or a bottle of water or something. I don't know. I just like doing that. You don't have to, obviously. But then pause the video, read it like I said, and when we come back, we'll talk about what God was really emphasizing and highlighting to us. Now that you've finished reading Psalm 83 on your own time, I want to share the first couple of verses. I'm going to read them in the New Living Translation, and they were just the verses that made me think of another story in the Bible that I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, but here we go. Oh God, do not be silent. Do not be deaf. Do not be quiet, O God. Don't you hear the uproar of your enemies? Don't you see that your arrogant enemies are rising up? So a lot of times people pray and they ask God a question. They're like, God, can you do this? Or will this happen? Or what do you want me to do in this situation? And then it seems like silent, like you're not hearing anything back, right? And so that's what I wanted to kind of talk to you about today. I actually want to share a story from the Old Testament that I think is so interesting. It's in the book of 1 Kings chapter 19, and I want to read part of it to you. It's about the prophet Elijah. There he came to a cave, Elijah, and he spent the night there. And then it says that the Lord said to Elijah, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah replied, "I have zealously served the Lord God Almighty, but the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you. They've torn down your altars and killed every one of your prophets. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too. Go out and stand before me on the mountain," the Lord told him. And as Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. It was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose, but the Lord was not in the wind, that loud wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there was the sound of a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak, and he went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. And a voice said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" So God's asking him again. And Elijah replied again and said, "I have zealously served the Lord God Almighty, but the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you." He's repeating himself. He's just saying, we're in a bad spot, and I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Then the Lord told him, "Go back the same way you came and travel to the wilderness of Damascus. When you arrive there, anoint Hazael to be king of Aram. Then anoint Jeshu," and it says, so God gives him these really specific instructions. And then it says, "and anoint Elisha to replace you as my prophet." Elijah was looking for God in these really obvious, cliche ways that God had shown up in the past. And it's not that it was bad, it was just that's how God had shown up in the past. Like he was a pillar of fire at night that led the people of Israel. But God decided this time that he wanted to speak to Elijah through a gentle whisper. And I want to ask you that if you're seeking God and you're like, "God, I'm in a difficult time," or "God, I really need to hear you speak to me about this situation," don't necessarily tell yourself that you're going to get this really obvious answer. Sometimes God's going to surprise you, and he may speak to you in an unusual way. He may send a message to you through a person or an event that takes place that you notice, and you're like, and then he begins to say, "Hey, I'm pointing this out to you for a reason." He's going to speak to you in really amazing, unusual, cool ways, and it's not going to be always what you expect. Sometimes he's going to give you an answer that you thought he would give you a different answer. So anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow with another episode of #YourDiary, another Devo. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Bye.